Today we are going to be talking with Brian.Lewis, who is with Hunt Mortgage. Brian, go ahead and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Man, it's my homie K, man. What's going on, K? Man, listen, that's a loaded question. First, me, man, just a man, made a decision to serve the Lord. Try to make positive steps at that every day, man. It's a lifetime journey. What I do for a living is I work for a licensed mortgage bank here in New York, Hunt Mortgage. That's underneath the Hunt Real Estate Corporation. So appreciate you having me on tonight.
Awesome. It's nice having you. Thank you for taking time to do this with me.
I got you. Listen, man, I'm going to just go ahead and say it right now, audience. So she got this whiteboard, right? So when I come into the office, you know what I'm saying, and I see this whiteboard, that joint is motivation, y'all. It says, the day I quit my job. Facts. Boom. Man, started this company. She's successful. Man, you a freaking inspiration, man. I had to get that one out, okay? Now I'm back to business. Let's go.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Got me hyped, man. Let's go. Bankers can have fun too, right?
Okay, I hear that. All right, so let's move on to the first question. So the first question is, what is your role as a mortgage consultant assistant?
Gotcha. Great question. I guess the best answer is right now I'm in transition. So you want to do something right. Just like the dude from Tampa said another night with the Super Bowl, you got to go find somebody that's been where you're trying to go. So right now I'm in a mortgage assistant role, and I'm being mentored, and I'm kind of doing like an apprenticeship with a licensed loan originator here at Hunt Mortgage while I'm waiting for New York to turn my license on. So definitely learning the ropes and working my way up.
Yay, awesome. That's good to hear. Now, this is my favorite question. What is your background in the financing/mortgage industry?
Good Lord. Man, again, he's blessed me to do a lot of studying and journeying in these last 10 years. But I originally got financed and securities licensed in 2010. So I became a financial service representative, kind of very similar roles, being that we work with the clients, really kind of look at where they are, wants and needs, and evaluate, kind of their position and make suitable recommendations just to help them get them to where they want to be. So that's the plan when I move into the loan originator position. But right now, again, I'm just an assistant. And but yeah, that's my background, finance. And now the Lord's blessed me to move me here.
Yay. Awesome. Why did you choose to become a mortgage consultant assistant?
Whew. Man, so you want me to be honest or candid? Which one you want?
Both.
Wow. All right. So truthfully, it was a prompting, man. I felt the Spirit move me that day. I remember you were sitting at the table. Your home team was there, and I was sitting next to Zoe. And I remember the speaker was one of the, officials with Hunt. And I just remember feeling this nudge like, yo, you need to go and do that. I think everybody, when you're on that road to success, you feel that nudge like, yo, I got to make this move. And if I don't, I don't know if I'm going to, I'm not going to be not happy, but I won't be as happy as I could. And so I followed the prompt, and I believe the Spirit left me the road to take, and I've been taking it ever since. So that's what really brought me here.
Nice. Awesome. Now, why did you choose Hunt Mortgage? Because you could have went with anyone else. So what is your background with Hunt?
Man, whew. Well, I come from Western New York, Rochester, born and raised, and I went to school in Buffalo. Shout out to UB. And that's where I became familiar with the Hunt family. So I think what brought me to Hunt, core values we match. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's still the largest family-ran real estate organization in the state. And after meeting the Hunt family, just great people, family-oriented. Obviously, I like the environment here. I've obviously met some great people. You, your home team, others with Hunt, and we take care of people. You treat people like you want to be treated. Pride ourselves on customer service, and that aligns with what I'm trying to do. So yeah, that's really what brought me here.
So well said. So well said. That was perfect. All right. So now that we got the introduction done, let's jump right into the homeowner ownership questions. So the first question is, what are some Hunt Mortgage products that would benefit a first-time or a third-time home buyer?
That's a loaded question too. And so first I'd say I'd look at why you need to talk to that loan originator. So in my position, I'm working with loan originators and I see a lot of cases and kind of just helping them do what they do. So first you would need to know what a loan originator does. So for somebody out there that's looking to buy a house, you either have to, it's like I want to go buy some J's. So I walk up to the cashier, they say these J's are $200. All right, $200. So I'm either going to pay cash or I'm going to pay with credit. And so if I'm going to choose to go the credit route, all right, it's essentially like I'm getting financed to get these J's. Well, the house is the same way. So in order to get financing for a house, it is recommended, the more traditional way is to talk to a loan originator at Hunt. We call them mortgage consultants. And what they do is they take the application, they start the application and they see it from start to finish for the clients. So again, they look at where the client is financially, kind of their current situation, and then start talking about where they want to be. And then they make suitable recommendations based on that profile and investment objective to help the client get them where they want to be. And that's the different programs that they sit and consult the clients with and advise the clients with. And so, I help do the application and kind of do the processing right now, while I'm in transit, but that's what is done. So they start to provide guidance on the programs that they have. So really, if you boil it down, all people are really paying us, any advisory or service job, is they're paying us for our guidance and our expertise. And that's why you want to talk to a loan originator. So when you talk about first-time homeowner programs, and there's a lot, it's all specific to the client. We have access to, a plethora of programs here at Hunt, and that we would cater to that client and their specific needs. So that's kind of what would be there. So, you have the typical ones, conventional, FHA, depending on where you're trying to go, USDA, veterans. So VA loans are the kind of the big four that a lot of people fall under. And those can be catered to first-time homeowners as well. The second part of your question, if it's like a third house, that sounds to me more like an investment type of person, and they probably need to go more conventionally based programs if I'm understanding the process correctly.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. I do have to say that the one thing that I realized that Hunt Mortgage does, as opposed to other institutions, is that Hunt Mortgage, the consultants really take their time with the clients that they are working with. So I have had clients who has spoken to a mortgage originator, and literally it was like a 10-minute conversation with basic questions, right? And then the client would answer the question, and then boom, the client has a pre-qualification letter. Well, that's all great and dandy, right? Because now we can go ahead and start looking at houses. But then when we start submitting the offer, then the offer gets accepted, and then when the lender starts really, really deeply looking into the buyer's financials, all of a sudden they're like, oh wait, you actually don't qualify, or oh wait, your debt to income ratio is too high, or oh wait, I thought you told me you made this much money. According to your W-2s, you make less. You're actually not qualified. And what I love about Hunt Mortgage is that you guys, I feel like I never have to worry about that happening, that you guys up front ask all the, basic questions, but you guys go even more deeper in that. Like, you guys ask for the documents ahead of time, so that, when the offer does get accepted, I don't have to worry about the deal dying because the buyer was actually no longer qualified. So that's the one thing that I love about Hunt Mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. You're absolutely right. Just in my assistantship role, working with the LOs or the mortgage consultants, as we call them here, I see the same thing, and I find that, when looking at these applications, trying to get the documents prepared for the LOs to make a decision, almost like a processing like job, I notice the same too. When you're prepared up front and you have those initial conversations and you set those expectations, then again, remember they're paying us for our guidance and our expertise. So we need to establish a it's less of a stressful situation in an already stressful situation, which is getting a mortgage and buying a house. How do we streamline that and make it as the client as comfortable as possible? And it really boils down to what we do. I see you guys do it on your home team, and that's what we try to do as well. And it's kind of what that sign says in back of me. This is what Hunt stands for. We always there for you, and we want to treat people like we would want to be treated. How do I want to feel if I was sitting in your space? And I would want somebody to take care of me. Again, I'm paying for your guidance and your expertise. So I'm saying that it's not that I may not know, but I don't know necessarily as much as what you know. And so I'm asking you to help me with this situation. And so treating somebody, making the message come down to the message, the message come to the listener, and working through it, because it can be done. And just automating as much as possible in today's kind of weird world. So our application time's probably about 10 minutes. We like to have conversations with them first before pushing them to the online platform. So again, we can establish that upfront, conversation and expectation. So I agree, and I appreciate that, but I know y'all do the same. So it lets the world know that we're all on the same page and we're not just kind of fluffing this thing and kind of, bull jiving people. Nah, we really stand behind what we believe in and gonna treat people like we want to be treated,
Yeah. And it's funny because you actually just said something else that was like one of my, one of the things that drive me crazy is that a lot of lenders, they just, shoot over the application link and they're like, yeah, just fill out this application, not even looking to make contact with the client, not looking to ask, actually have a conversation with them. Maybe they're not in the position to, go ahead and do the application. Maybe just by having a conversation with them over the phone, you may already have established that, you do need to wait another month or so, or, hey, why don't you talk to this credit person, because by what you're saying, it sounds like you're just not ready to do the application. So the other thing that I like about you guys is that, like you said, you have that conversation first, and then based off of that conversation, then you go ahead and be like, hey, I'm going to send you over the link for the application so that you can go ahead and fill it out. A lot of lenders skip that first step and they go straight to the second step. And not all the time, but there's just sometimes where, it's just like, just talk to them. Like, I just need you to just talk to them, really hear them out. They may have questions for you right now that they may not want to necessarily go ahead and just fill out the application because they don't really know what the application is. They don't know what it does. Like, what is the point of them filling out the application? And a lot of lenders kind of miss that. So I'm glad that, again, like you said, you guys are always there for them. So you're always there to make that initial contact and actually have that conversation with them, instead of just kind of them pushing, instead of you kind of just pushing them through the next step. You're actually stopping, you're talking, and you're explaining, and then you're going to the next step. So that's another thing that I like.
Appreciate that. We try.
Yeah. Next question. At what point in the buying process should one schedule an appointment with you?
I mean, shoot, right from the get-go, you know what I mean? But I would say, just with going along with the process, to me, as I'm learning more and more and going through this, I think there's like four phases that I see kind of bubbling up to the top. And phase one is the pre-approval. So that's when you go and you're looking to find the bag before you find the house, Lord's willing. Second phase is the house hunt. Third is really appraising that collateral that you just purchased. And fourth is the closing. So to answer your question, I would say, obviously, I would want them to come meet with us first. But the real answer is, they need to go talk to you and their realtor, and then have that conversation again as you start to discover through the fact finder what they want, what they have, what's their goal and their objective. And then as you start to get that understanding, boom, now we start the pre-approval process, and they start to come talk to us, so that when you out there, because step 2 is the house hunt, they're coming right back to you.
Right.
But you want peace of mind when you out there. You don't want to be worried, like you said, like, I'm going to go give them a pre-qual, which in its own right really is just like a numbers review. Mm-hmm. And now you giving somebody who has $300,000 dreams with $150,000 money. Like that's our fiduciary responsibility to tell you, now you need to slow down. That's not a suitable recommendation to go get that $300,000 house and you only got $150,000 money. That ain't right. Right. And so in that step 1 and 2, I think they should meet with us. And the beauty of Hunt is that we have a collaborative effort. So even though we're 2 separate companies, we're still under the same one company. So we can have the conversation with the realtors to go, all right, what's your vision? And then we talk to the client, what's your vision? And, the truth is somewhere in the middle, and we just try to make it all work from the finance side.
That was perfect. I don't even have anything to say because that was right on.
Yeah, man. I see enough of them, and I'm like, man, your job can be tough. And it's like, how do we not only help them? Because, again, it's a stressful situation. How do we help them and the client? And so not only are we there for the client, we got to be there for y'all, too, because we understand. We do.
And like you said, that's why the collaboration is so important. Just making sure that we're all on, one team and on the same page, just supporting the client and getting them from A to B is, that's really all I want.
Absolutely. It's a boss move. That person's making what many statistics say is the biggest purchase they'll ever make. So we understand that, it's a lot going into that decision. We just, again, want to provide you the right guidance based on the expertise that we studied for. Shout out to you for getting that new designation. I saw that. Boom. And so, hey, just told you, inspiration, y'all. Girl, darn inspiration, man. Got to get back to school. That's what you just told me.
Thank you. Hey, knowledge is power, okay?
That's it.
All right, so we talked a little bit about a pre-qualification letter, and you actually kind of defined it a little bit. So can you tell us the difference between a pre-qualification letter, a pre-approval letter, and then of course you got to talk about the type of program that Hunt Mortgage has to compete with both of those?
It's really more of like you're providing like where you stand currently financially. So we're kind of looking at your income, your debts, savings, credit history, is essentially just a generic overview of where you are currently. You don't even have to necessarily provide things like W-2s and bank statements. You can just kind of give an overview. That gets you a pre-qual. Okay. But at the end of the day, as you said before, like it really boils down to, well, are you either going to apply for this mortgage? Are you going to start that origination process before you find the house and get an offer and acceptance, or are you going to do it after? So the pre-qual is essentially you doing it before. You're just saying, hey, what I have access to. And the pre-approvals, it's just a step further. I would say it gets a little bit more deeper, maybe starts reviewing cost more to maybe more specific type of numbers. But again, you haven't made any like formal decision to apply. And as you know, as a realtor, you see that, for a strong offer, a lot of times I'm looking on these sheets as I'm trying to put it together for the loan originators, and all right, they're looking for mortgage commitment, a couple weeks, something like that, after you make the offer and it gets accepted. Well, the beauty of our program and what I believe makes us different at Hunt, we have something called the pre-purchase commitment program. So you're saying that you're looking to do that process before you even found the house. And so now when you go and make an offer to, when you're phase 2, you're out with Kadijah, you find the house that you were looking for, y'all make an offer and get it accepted, it's going to make your offer stronger when you show up to that table, you cashing out, and you say, I have mortgage commitment already. Mm-hmm. that's even more powerful than a pre-qual and stuff like that, because you essentially just saved them 2-3 weeks. It gets a faster close time, so to a seller, they like that, and it's going to have you stand out.
Awesome. So that I'm going to skip around because that brings me to one of our other questions. How can you help a first-time home buyer be competitive in this type of market?
Have a conversation with us. Especially our mortgage consultants are really, really good. The more I'm entering into this process, I see just how knowledgeable they really are. The studying that we had to do to get our license, so to get even to the first step to get a license was tough. But just looking at the training and the resources that Hunt provides our mortgage consultants, as I aspire to be one, they're really, really knowledgeable. They do have the expertise, and so they can walk you through that process, because it is specific to the person. So that it's a depends question, answer to that one. But can we help? Yes, we can structure that program that puts the person in the best ability to be successful. Because you don't want to put somebody in a program that Lord blesses them with that house, and then down the road they can't afford it, and they get out of it because it wasn't structured right. Again, we're doing our due diligence up front to make sure that we make suitable recommendations at Hunt for the clients. And I have to say our mortgage consultants do a great job with that.
Perfect. Love it, love it, love it. Now I remember Lorenzo. I believe that was last year. It could have been back in 2019. It probably, I don't know, something is telling me that it was actually in 2019. But I remember when we first really started pushing to collaborate more with Hunt Mortgage. And I remember this is when the market really, like the inventory really started shrinking. It was really back in 2019. Could have been earlier than that, but I remember 2019. And I remember that Lorenzo was in a multiple offer situation. And the only reason why him and his clients won that multiple offer situation is because of the pre-purchase commitment program. Because like you said, it shaves off like 2 to 3 weeks from the buying process. So while everyone else, their closing was like, I don't know, 45 days, 60 days out, this particular offer was actually 30 days, around that 30-day mark, because their mortgage commitment everything was basically already done. All they had to do is do inspections, do appraisal, and do title. Mm-hmm. That was it. And if you have the resources, to you, title, all those things really can take about 2 weeks. Back in 2019, definitely not in today's market, but back in 2019, all of those 3 things will take about 2 weeks. So it's like your closing time is so much faster. So, depending on the seller's wants and needs, when they see that you can close 2 to 3 weeks faster than everyone else, and on top of that, you've already been approved for a mortgage up front. Like, you can prove that with your offer. Come on now, like that's a no-brainer. So it was amazing to really see and understand how powerful the pre-purchase commitment program when first becoming an agent, because I became an agent in fall of 2018. Mm-hmm. And then in 2019, that's when that happened. And I was like, it blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, nobody else is doing that.
Yeah, because I love that 15-step, like it's like a ladder, like Candyland ladder y'all use, and it's powerful. It's a powerful visual. Yes. And we're one of those steps in that Candyland ladder and shoots and ladder type of thing. And so it's not a full approval, but you have mortgage commitment, based on the conditions left, and as you said, the appraisal. And you still budget for the typical 60-day closing, but if you can under promise and over deliver, that could be a great thing. So we look to pay our bills on time is kind of how I'm thinking about it, And if we can pay them early, that's good too, So.
Oh my God, that was perfect.
I had no other way to come up with that. I was like, all right,
cool. No, that was good. Hey, I understood that.
All right, cool. All right. I want to make sure that was clear.
And you're right. I just thought about our graphic. It does look like Candyland. I never thought of it like that.
That's a great graphic. I was like, oh man, I understand what step I'm on. I was like, oh, I'm at the mortgage one. Great.
Okay, I like that. Candyland.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I grew up in the 90s, man. That was all we had to do other than climb trees. You know what I'm saying?
I got the game. I had to teach little Amaya. Like, I had to bring her back to my childhood. Like, listen, we going through the same steps here.
I know she don't want no Uno, though. She don't want them problems. I know
that. God, she's the Uno queen, okay?
Nah, she don't want no smoke, because I'm nasty. Straight stacks. Boom.
God, that is hilarious.
Come on, we have fun too. Yeah, she'll probably kill me. I'm boosted, man. She'll probably bust my tail. But
yeah, man, Uno's her game. I'm telling you, she becomes a whole different person. I'm telling you,
it's competitive, man. That was our poker in that generation. So It was great.
Yep. All right. So, what are the most common types of mortgage loans? And can you cover the differences and the minimum percentage down for each loan?
I can't get too specific, but like we talked about earlier, the general ones, the overarching ones that most society knows is, the conventionals, the FHAs, programs, VA programs, USDA programs. You have our specialty programs that, Hunt has access to as well, like the 203K program and, other programs like that. Those generally tend to be what most people fall in. And then they even have subdivisions as well. So those are really the overarching ones. Ranges from down payment, between 3 and, I've seen as low as 3 to up to 20. Obviously, you can pay as much as you want down. That's really up to you. But 3 to 20 is conventional. And then, obviously the general 3.5, that society knows about FHA. So those are like the general ranges that they can fall under. But again, it all depends on needs and wants. And so again, just get back, talk with that mortgage consultant or that loan originator, and have that more specific conversation to cater it to that family or person's specific needs.
Perfect. So I want us to reiterate this because I get this question a lot. And it's a question, but then it becomes more of a concern because, like you said, society knows that FHA is 3.5% down.
At least that's what they think. Yeah.
Right. And you don't know how many times I sit down, right, and I show them the Candyland map, right, and they get, I don't know, then they're like, oh, I thought it's 20, if I need to have 20% or 30%. And I'm like, no, like where are you getting that idea from? Do you have any idea of where that idea is coming from?
I do not, unfortunately. It is kind of a myth that people think that's like it's a fixed rule. Actually, if you read the guidelines, which are, you can Google search them, FHA, different, Investopedia is a great source for like, just general terms and kind of getting general knowledge of it. But that's where you can go and start, just to kind of educating yourself on different terms, different language that they're using to kind of have a deeper conversation. But I don't know where that came from. I guess maybe a lot of people may have just gotten that and it's kind of become like almost like a urban legend or something. But nah, those programs are pretty vast, and that's why you need to talk to a mortgage consultant or a loan originator, because they can navigate those muddy waters and clear it up for the client. So again, this just goes back to having that conversation, especially if it's no cost or no obligation conversation. Go get the education, go get the mentorship and the guidance to make your dreams reality in that regards. But I think that's almost like a myth. I don't know why most people say that. But that's what, but again, well, that's why we employ it, because we doing things like this to show them, nah, there's another way, you know?
Right. Absolutely. Perfect. Well said. The next one, and I love this term because I use this term all the time, and I think it's important for clients to know that this is an option for when they are buying a house. Now, the question is the term run numbers. Can you describe what that term means and how it benefits home buyers?
Wow. I would say that's even person specific, but I guess the generally accepted understanding of running the numbers, I will answer it by saying anybody can do it. You know, there's a lot of resources on like Google. There's this thing called Carl's Mortgage, and all running the numbers is kind of showing what your petty is. And that's the acronym that anybody trying to buy a house and obtain a mortgage, you need to know that acronym, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That is essentially your mortgage payment. And so, you know, that generally accepted acronym is what running the numbers is kind of showing you. Again, you want to talk to your loan originator or mortgage consultant to have them get into the specifics, because each program has its own rules and variations. But the overarching 50,000 foot level of running the numbers is basically, what's my mortgage payment? Well, what is it? What does it look like? And you can Google that. You can use banking calculators or things like that. Like as soon as you type Google mortgage calculator, something's going to pop up. And yeah, it gives you basically an overarching number of what that general mortgage payment could look like. And you can at least make a better decision knowing, hey, would I be comfortable with that? Is it somewhere around that? And then that leads to the conversation with your realtor, and then subsequently the conversation with your, financier. So that's how I see running the numbers.
That's perfect. And it's funny because I use it a lot with the type of buyers that are looking for a certain monthly payment, right? They're in a specific range. Like, I want my mortgage to be anywhere from 900 to 1200, right? It can't be more than that, because then I'm going to be living paycheck to paycheck. And if something goes wrong within the house, I won't have the funds to fix it. So in that case, when we go ahead and before we even submit an offer, so say they find a house that they want to submit an offer for, what I usually do with the client is I have the client go to their lender, and I have them ask their lender to run numbers, so that, again, that client is fully aware of their monthly mortgage and how much they would need for their closing costs. Because again, when there's a lot of buyers that when they first get their pre-qualification letter, some of them don't even know how much they would have to bring to the closing table. And that is mind-blowing. Like, it blows my mind that some of these buyers don't even know how much money they are to bring to the closing table. Because again, I feel like that's kind of setting them up for failure. And I don't want to set my clients up for failure. I want them to know ahead of time. I want them to be confident. I want them to be comfortable. And I want them to always have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because anything can go wrong in the buying process. So that's typically when I run numbers, is when they are looking to submit an offer. And then we try to get the actual numbers from the lender. And then based off of those numbers, like you said, the lender, the realtor, and the client kind of collab, right? We all come together, have a conversation about the numbers. And then that way we are confident and comfortable about the type of offer we are submitting. And then, again, the lender and I know that we're not strapping our client financially, that, they are comfortable, because again, it is all about the client. They are the ones that is buying the house. So they need to be the one that is comfortable with the numbers and, the closing cost and, the monthly mortgage. So running numbers is huge to me. I use that term all the time. I think it's important. I don't think there is enough buyers that understand that they do have that option, that they can absolutely have their lender run numbers. I mean, I wouldn't get too crazy and start running numbers on every single home you're interested in, but I would really do it on the homes that you are looking to submit an offer. Just get an idea of how much it costs, because if you're going to submit an offer on a home, you get all the way to the closing table, and then you don't have the full money. Not a lot of people is going to be be at the closing
Sounds
table.
like a recipe for some pissed off people.
Yeah. So, run numbers is huge to me. I use it all the time. I feel like it's very important. And yeah, I feel like a lot of buyers don't know that they have the option to have their lender give them actual numbers on a house that they are going to submit an offer on, not even buy yet. Like, we're not even getting there. We're saying that the buyer is interested. They are going to submit an offer. They want to get the financial path of this house.
That's what you're absolutely right. And that's what the mortgage consultants and loan originators, that's what they do. And if you have a specific question, again, you are paying for their guidance and expertise. So as you said, use it. And whether that's running numbers or having a quick conversation about whatever it is in regards to the financing path, talk to them. I think the major takeaway from tonight's call is, man, have the conversation. You just don't know until you go. Like, don't be afraid. Have the conversation. We are people and we care, just like we were sitting in your seat, because probably at some point we were sitting in that seat.
Right.
And so just have the conversation. I just admonish that. Have the conversation. It's worth it. If you want knowledge.
Yep. And that's funny because I like the way you keep bringing that up, because a lot of, I've had, believe it or not, I've had clients that were, what's the best way to word this? They weren't very keen on reaching out to their lender. And it drove me insane because I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I want you to feel like you should feel comfortable and confident with your lender. You guys are going over one of probably the biggest transaction that you will ever make in your whole entire life. You are giving them all of your financials. They know how much money you make. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much information, so much confidence in that conversation, so that you should feel comfortable with the person that you were talking to. You should feel comfortable, not saying that you should do this, but you should feel comfortable calling your lender at 3:00 in the morning with a finance question.
You might get that answer machine.
Again, not saying you should do that, but you know what I mean? Like you should feel comfortable with your lender. Yep. Yeah, like you shouldn't be scared.
Yeah. It's like a physician. Like, if I had something wrong with my arm, I should be able to go to my doctor and go, here are the symptoms that I'm having. Can you guide me on what to do to fix my arm, or can you yourself fix it? So it's the same thing. You're absolutely right. And I think that's really the biggest thing about Hunt. Goes back to what brought me here, is that those values. Like, the people at Hunt, our realtors, we're a big corporation. So we got Hunt Mortgage, we got Hunt Insurance, we got Title, we got Fisher Homes, which is new construction, we got Hunt Commercial, and everybody follows this. Hey man, just you treat people like you want to be treated. That's what always being there is about. And we have to live up to that. It's about customer service, especially in a world where the degree of separation, right? It's like maybe a degree of separation. So what is it that's going to set you apart? Well, hey, we give a darn about you. It could just boil down to that. We actually give a darn about you, and we give a darn about what we do. We give a darn about our job, and we're going to do it to the best of our ability. And we're at least honest enough to say, if maybe we're not the best option for you, at least you can respect us enough to say, hey, we'll tell you, hey, maybe the offer you got on the table right now is a better offer. Right. Well, you know what? Respect us enough to know that we will be honest like that as well. And so, because we would want somebody to do that to us. And it all boils down to treating other people like you want to be treated, treating people like family, you know. And I see you do it every day. See your home team do it. We at Hunt Mortgage try to do it, you know, across the nation. So, yeah, you know, it's all boils down to that.
Now, I'm throwing this question in there. Are you able to talk about our Second Look program?
It's a cool little program. If someone has they already have like a pre-qual or pre-approval, and like a physician, you just want a second opinion, come talk to us, and you know, we'll give you $50 for taking a look at it. So it's a pretty amazing program to see if we can obviously match or beat it. And again, if we can't, we'll tell you. But more than likely, hopefully we'll give it a shot. You know, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, so it's a good program. Absolutely good.
I love it. When I first heard about the program, again, in 2019 is when, you know, we really started collaborating with Hunt Mortgage. So when I first heard of the program, I'm like, what? You're going to take a look at a client's pre-qual, and if you can't beat it, you're going to tell them? I'm like, what? I was like, no, they're lying. Like, ain't no way. They're just going to try and take that client, whether they can beat it or not. And no, because it's just something so unbelievable that a lender would actually give their time to sit and look at a pre-qual and even try to play with the numbers, try to be creative and do all that they can to see if they can beat that current pre-qual. And if they can't, they're literally not only going to give you $50, what? But they're going to tell you, nope, we can't beat it, stay where you are. Like, if
we can't beat it, we'll at least, it's our fiduciary responsibility, you know. So we have that obligation, and we took that seriously to say, hey, you know, we'll do right by the client, and if by some weird chance we can't beat it, we'll have that conversation too. But obviously we're not taking a second look because we don't think we can beat it. We probably can beat that thing, and so Lord's willing, you know. You don't know till you go, right? It all goes back to that. Don't know till you go. But yeah, it's a great program. I'm glad you brought it up. I love it as well. And a lot of people, they get that kind of, oh, you really do that. And, you know, in the rare moments that they do have something that for some reason we couldn't beat, hey, you know what? Obviously, we want to see we want to see the best for you and your family. You need to stick with that deal. If that was the case, you know, we'll gladly have that conversation too, because that's our fiduciary responsibility.
I love it. That is amazing. That is really, really amazing. All right, so get into our concluding questions. We talked a little bit about this, but what are some common myths or misunderstandings that you've heard about in regards to the mortgage process?
Oh yeah, we did talk a little bit about it, but I would say the one that I would say is, you know, some people just think like you need like exceptional 800 level credit and stuff like that. Nah, man, we keep saying it throughout this call. You don't know till you go. Have a conversation. You'd be surprised with some of these programs that are out there, you know, FHA and different programs and what type of range they cater to. That's the mortgage consultant's job, is to navigate those waters and make suitable recommendations to the client. So, you know, when you meet with our mortgage consultants at Hunt, that's what they're doing. And they're having that conversation, and they're explaining that here are the ranges and this is what affects different parts of the scenario. And again, they're just being transparent and honest, because, you know, that's the law first and foremost. But second, we will want to be treated the same way. So I would say that's probably the biggest one that's, you know, on my mind right now, is that people think you need some type of, you know, exceptional credit. Nah, you never know. So you don't know what they'll say yes to until you ask the question.
Right. And it's funny because if you put the ideas that, oh, I need 800 credit score, whatever the case may be, and they need 25% down payment, I mean, a lot of these people are probably feeling like that they could never become homeowners because they have all these false ideas of things that's not even true.
Yeah. What we don't know sometimes does bite us in the butt. And that's why we have to have conversations like this, just to start opening up that dialogue to go, here's what we thought was true, and here's what it is. And
Right.
so, if we've been blessed to acquire that knowledge, then you know what? It's essentially our duty to go back and talk to our brother and sister and go, hey, listen, this is the knowledge that I have come across. I think it may be able to help you, whether it's today or in 10 years. Right. But here's the information that, as it was presented to me, as it was freely given to me, I should be able to freely give it to you. And you're right, we're making decisions off half truths. Nah, we have the people who has went and studied this and discovered the knowledge. Let's go back and make a difference with it. And not only do you have the ability to do that in your role in the business that you run, but me working for this licensed mortgage, bank, we have the opportunity as well. And, I think at Hunt, we're taking advantage of that.
Awesome. Very well said. Next one. What are some common mistakes clients make during the home buying process that could have been avoided if they met with you first?
It goes the one that come to my mind as soon as you asked that question was that Candyland picture. Like, you need to look at the picture. Know where you are in the process. People like to get jumping around, and that can mess things up.
Yes.
Don't worry, we got you. Just, we're gonna hold your hand. We're gonna walk through it.
Right.
That's what comes to my mind. Like, you need to talk with somebody, because you might jump to step 8 and you overlook or try to find a shortcut to step 3, right. And that can be really bad when you get to 12. So, right. Having that conversation with mortgage consultants and realtors to kind of navigate those steps in the ladder, you want that because, again, guidance, expertise, that's what you're paying for. So don't circumvent the process. Trust the process.
Perfect. All right, this is the last question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. COVID has impacted many people who were probably thinking of buying or selling their home, and they are no longer confident that this is something they still can do. How can you help?
Have a conversation. Just have a conversation with us. Make that call. Because one thing I know that they've done at Hunt, really proud of this. Our mortgage engine is the operational thing that's online that walks you through every step of the origination process, and it's all automated. So if you're somebody that doesn't want to sit down at the table anymore, we can have these like tele apps, but we're having a Zoom call with your realtors. We can have a Zoom call with you, and we can walk. Zoom has everything. I can share my screen, give you the mouse, and now you start moving through Zoom on my screen. So we can actually have that conversation virtual, just like we're in the same room. So you don't have to use that as a means to not start the process. And whatever you feel you don't know or you think you know and you want to know more, just have a conversation. I think that's what, if anything, I can take away from 2020. Conversations can work. Like, we need to have conversations. And because when that dialogue happens, that's when the true learning happens and growth can happen. And that's when true change happens, when people can sit down and actually have a conversation and communicate. So that'd be my advice. Have the conversation. Reach out to K, K24, always working 24 hours a day, don't stop. Even got her daughter working, y'all. And
okay.
Ain't playing. Shout out to that little girl, killing it. And so definitely just reach out, have a conversation, and people like her, they'll do you right. And so that'd be my advice.
Awesome. Perfect. Oh, that was so well said. That was awesome. Well, do you have anything else that you want to share before we go?
Definitely, man. Appreciate the time. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. Definitely utilize Kadijah.Johnson. You know what I mean? Hunt Real Estate. More specifically, your home team. Shout out to your home team. Six realtors large right now and growing. Doing very well. Whenever you have any mortgage needs and financing, we do refinancing as well. reach out to a Hunt mortgage consultant. Lord's willing, soon I'll be able to say that I am one too as I continue through this process. Keep your boy in prayer. And yes, any way we can help, we'll live up to our motto and be there for you. So just, start a conversation. It really boils down to that.